Welcome to Controversies of the Day with Logan
and Jay.
Logan, there's so many things to talk about, man. I mean, it's this world. Whoa, it's getting nutty. It's getting nutty. Well, let's start off with something a little more thoughtful here. Of course, we are in recent times experiencing the devaluation of our U.S. dollar, which brings in the whole monetary system into everybody's, way of thinking. Sometimes that kind of talk can get kind of esoteric. People's eyes can glaze over. But nowadays, I mean, you go to the grocery store and you're putting the groceries, usual groceries you get every week on there, and it's costing you more and more and more. So you're seeing the value of your dollar go down. So it's got to make everybody out there, I don't care if you're educated, if you're not educated, you're understanding that something's happening here. It ain't good, folks. Our dollar, as Oliver Anthony song has said, is turning into manure pretty fast. So there's lots of talk of a digital dollar, Logan, and you got some thoughts on that, I think.
Sure, thoughts. I don't know. It's a big push around the rest of the world. You see a lot of other countries pushing for this, central bank digital currency. I think is what the term means, the CBDC. But it's not so much a big push in America yet. I know Biden's put together a team to kind of sort out if this is something that's beneficial to America, to the people, or for business in general. The Federal Reserve, I think, said they won't do anything like this until Congress kind of puts it up to them and the people agree alongside of it. I think it has a lot of privacy problems. I think that's the biggest concern.
Well, definitely.
That's probably why we don't really hear it too much being talked about in today's economic atmosphere right now. The bigger thing is big things that are taking place is the debt for more Ukraine money or ESG business. But I think this has some serious implications of doing something more nefarious in the future, because they can look at everything attached to you. You get to see where you put all your money in, and I think that's where the bigger privacy thing is that they're afraid. General people should be afraid that they can turn this stuff off at a flip of a switch, a keystroke. They have no problem doing that type of stuff. So it is something to kind of be worried about.
I think so too. I mean, if you think about it in general, ladies and gentlemen, and we got to think about this now. We're all being kind of conditioned with the internet, with all the technology. Everybody's just sort of willfully giving up their privacy a lot here. And in general, is that okay? Are you really comfortable with that? Is that a good idea in the big picture? And now here we're talking about money. I got to tell you, Logan, for me, this is one of my pet issues. I think anybody who's political, and I'm saying this to anybody out there, if you're political, whatever the politics may be, you probably got like 2 or 3 issues. Whoever you are, you know what I mean? You got 2 or 3 issues that really drive you nuts, okay? Grind your gears, as you like to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, and this is one of the ones that just absolutely terrifies me. There were these apocalyptic biblical end times books. A guy made a lot of money off them back in the 70s named Hal Lindsey. I think he had a bestseller called The Late Great Planet Earth. And he talked of the mark of the beast, and that you would have a mark or a chip or something in you. And so many other people have talked about this and made a lot of money making books and scaring people and whatnot. However, we now see that the technology is pretty much there today, isn't it?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, they can do pretty much anything they want. There's no hiding from it. So, I mean, they'll be able to track your activity. I mean, more so, they already got that. So if you have all your banking done online, I mean, digital banking's already here. Digital dollars are here. It's your debit card. It's PayPal. It's any of these different cryptos that you might be playing with. It's already here. I mean, the idea is to roll out cash and coin, which honestly might not be a bad move, just because it could save us money as a country in general. You don't have to keep up with the currency. To be honest, I don't know what the real value of it is. People say, "Oh, you want to have cash on hand," but why? It's not worth anything. It's not going to do anything. If there were another depression or recession where the dollar ain't worth shit, why would you worry about saving cash? I don't think paper and coin cash really have a place in society anymore. I mean, outside of
old fashioned.
Yeah, no, I get it. But at the same time, I can understand why people like small towns, farmers markets, that type of stuff where it's more convenient. I can get that, but in the scheme of things, it would, I think, I would imagine it would save us money in some sense, as long as we see that savings go to other places where the people believe it should go. Anyways, completely out of
I mean, I like cash, and I'm the older one here of the two of us, and I know a lot of young people are used to. What are they doing? Help me out with this. Show what a caveman I am, folks. Some people where they're taking their phones and they can swipe something with their phones and actually pay
yeah. I mean,
something.
you've been able to do it for years with your credit cards, your debit cards. They have a chip, and then you just swipe it over the little device, and it
Yeah,
does. The phones do it now. It's an NFC, a near field communication. So as long as your phone's close enough and you have whatever uh, lock or privacy on there, you unlock your phone with whatever fashion it does it. I used to use it at other jobs that have vending machines that are like that. It's convenient. You get it. I'm not one to carry a lot of stuff in my pockets, so a wallet being one of them. I carry my driver's license, my debit card, and one or two other important cards, and that's it. A little money clip. I don't carry a big wallet. Carry my phone.
got the big wallet here, folks.
So
Big bulge in my
to me,
pants,
it
right?
makes sense. But again, we already live in this digital. We already do live in this digital dollar. It's all done with our debit cards and your online pay. It's already all there. I think what this is just a bigger push to completely get rid of money in general, which again, the privacy concerns or even the conspiracy theories guys can jump out and start, being worried about. Again, they're going to be able to track you. They're going to be able to see exactly where your money goes. They're going to be able to see these things. So it is a big scare for something this big.
For me, it is. It's really one of the most terrifying things. I'll be honest with you. Here's the good news. I thought we already would have been there by now. Be there. I thought we would be there by now, folks. That's the good news. On the flip side, and I think you were alluding to some of this. I know somebody can. Here's what's scary, and I'm going to be completely honest. You were alluding to it there. Someone really can make a great argument for some of this. I mean, what's the criminal world going to do? I mean, the criminal world is really about cash. I get that but I don't care. I want the freedom. I want the freedom. I want the privacy. I like that. But I know that, if we ever did this and there was still a criminal world, somebody's got to say, hey, wait, how's this working? Because if you could track everything, I mean, come on now. But it is interesting too that even in our system today, Logan, we got there's an investigation. Maybe you heard about it. This a family called the Biden family. This family has several LLCs, folks, several limited liability corporations. So there are ways to quote unquote what do you want to say, label things and shelter things and put different names on things, even though it may not have your own personal name on it. There are ways for things to be moved around. I don't know. I'm against the digital dollar. I'm against a cashless society, folks. I know many people want it really bad. I don't know. Will we have a one world currency before we get to that point, or will that will be the one world currency, the digital dollar, the digital whatever it could be, whatever they want to call it at that point. Who knows? So it's going to be fascinating as we go forward with the technology. I just tell you, I don't like it. And then that brings us to ESG.
So now I asked because I'm not, by no means are we any kind of bankers or do we know too much about this other than what we read in the paper or in certain articles. So I've asked a couple of different AIs that are connected to the internet. So Google's Barb being one of them. And when I ask this, it gives me an answer to ESG and these digital dollars possibly working together. And it says, yeah, central banks would love to be able to use these to offer certain incentives to businesses and to be able to produce better products, stuff of that sort.
And then just for the audience, real quick, ESG stands for
what is it? Environmental, social, and
governance, right?
Governance, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's supposed to. It's woke business. You're supposed to live within these guidelines to get some certain percentage to be a better company. And the guys that run this, are the big three. You got BlackRock, you got
State Street,
and Vanguard. So you got these three big companies that control all this money, and they control the majority of these companies, and for them, they make these companies fit within these little walls here to fit whatever narrative. Because I mean, really, again, it's regardless if it actually makes another company more, it seems like it's just major control. And the majority of these people that are part of these ESG programs or a part of ESG, you know, they're owned by BlackRock or Vanguard or State Street. So it's a little.
The real bosses.
Yeah, I mean,
the real bosses.
It's pretty insane. So once you get these two guys working together, I think it turns into a much bigger, dangerous issue because now, again, you're literally putting the power of a few men, a few companies into.
Larry Fink, people.
Yeah.
Larry Fink.
It's scary.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
So one of the other things that would scare me about all this is that you got a company from a few years ago went into an investigation with the SEC, and it was a company called Ripple Labs, and they created a blockchain, which is more of a crypto thing where it helps you move large amounts of money over borders faster, more efficient, cheaper. So if you were a big bank or a big business person and you were doing business in Taiwan or Japan and you had to move 100 million, they'd be able to do that within minutes for a fraction of the cost that it would take for you to go from whatever big set bank, a Chase here in America to a Chase in Japan. Even though it's the same bank, you still got all the fees and stuff to go to moving that large amount of cash. Could take days and cost you, you know, millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands or whatever the case may be. I don't know if it's interest or, you know. But these guys would be able to make this to a blockchain. Now, from my understanding what a blockchain is and how these guys operate, it takes that money and completely anonymizes it. It's completely secure. You got a key, and then the recipient has a key, and only those keys can match each other. So it's not going to go. It has a very slim chance of going into itself. It's completely validated across this blockchain as it travels from point to point, border to border, until it gets to where it needs to go. So, you know, to bring all this together, you could almost incorporate, if people are worried about privacy, you could almost incorporate a blockchain type network into this, like, again, like something like Ripple, or, you know, I believe like Bitcoin is its own kind of blockchain where, again, it has the same type of anonymity. So people don't know where this money's moving. You just know that larger sums of monies are moving. So regardless, the government can still, now, this being the upside for the government, we implement this type of stuff in America. Now, I need to move a bunch of money. So I move a bunch of money from point A to point B, regardless of in country, out of country. But they see that bank account, that account had this much money and moved this much money to this account. Now it's this much money. So they can see, well, this guy is going to get taxed for moving that up, you know, that large money, regardless of what it is. If it's a bill of sale or something like that's attached to it, you got to pay tax on it. So they're going to make sure they can get their taxes. What we can say as citizens is that, well, yeah, it's private because they don't know who's moving money. So essentially, outside of actual receipts, you know, so if you're doing a business thing like Elon Musk buying Twitter, you know, there's a giant receipt connected to that, so you know that was him, that he done this, you know. But as far as like citizen type stuff, if I want to transfer money to you, I sell my car privately, you know, I still get to do that without anyone really knowing, but the government still gets their cut. I think that's what the big kind of takeaway is of this digital currency, at least as with places in Argentina, where, again, Ripple is actually one of these companies that will be a part of this pilot program to see who they're going to use for this. But that's the whole idea. It makes it easier for this government to collect tax money on its citizens, but still keep it somewhat private. I think America would very benefit, well, American business could benefit a lot from that. And it doesn't destroy the illicit movement of money, because let's be honest, these banks get paid millions, if not billions of dollars to do illicit activity, you know, money laundering or washing some cash. I believe that. I don't think they're innocent by any means, so it kind of helps everybody out, and it's kind of altogether evil. I'm against it. I am against it. I'm fine with my debit card. You know, that's what I use. I'm fine with that. But I don't think we should move to this. Again, I have no problem with cash. I just, like I explained earlier, I think there is a benefit of not having cash just for the sake of not having huge resources to continually print this shit that ain't worth what it's printed on, or stamping out coins that ain't worth the metal that it's actually minted out of. So that's my.
And I'm old school. I like cash. And gee, what would Senator Bob Menendez do if he was going to be bribed? Wait. Oh, yeah. So lots of cash and gold bars in his place. I want somebody to ask Senator Menendez. Wait a minute. Are you expecting a banking crisis, sir? Sir, are you expecting some kind of a banking crisis? Anyway, that's a little side note. I just had to throw that in.
We should talk about that because I completely disagree with what you think that is all about. I think all these politicians every one of you have some kind of corruption. You guys have done something illicit that you shouldn't be doing. I think they just picked the guy. I mean, how important is this congressperson? How like are they important by any means? Are they in big committees? Are they just?
We have to look into that. Senator, Bob Menendez, New Jersey. He's been there maybe 20 years, I think. I'm not sure if he was in the House before that, but he's hanging around some interesting people in Florida, and he says he's innocent, folks. Okay, so it's ongoing investigation. We shall see.
So did they just pick some stooge that they can sit there and make an example out of? Isn't it just so convenient that Mr. Trump is getting with all these financial, how fraud and all this stuff? I think they picked a low-level Republican just to kind of feed this whole, I don't know, very coincidental that this stuff happens. Again, if he's not that important, he's not a part of any big committee, he's not done anything other than take money, or who cares if he has gold? There's tons of people who have gold.
I'm fine with it all as long as I'm saying.
To me, it just seems
worried something's going to happen. Like we run on banks or something.
To me, it seems like just a nothing type thing. Now, if there's something comes out of it, sure, okay, well, it should be investigated more, and the guy should go to jail, whatever, prosecuted for any bullshit that he's done.
He's a Democrat, by the way. So,
is he? Okay.
I'll make sure. We'll double check that. We'll come back. We'll do a little update about Senator Menendez.
All right. Well, that puts everything I just said to shit because I thought he was no.
It was funny because even Fetterman said, "Well, I think we should. Yeah, if he's guilty, we should kick him out." So it's funny.
There's a lot of talk about that lately. Well, they're just willing to kick out anybody anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think there's a lot of infighting. The world's fighting. The world is almost on fire here. I mean, so that brings us to Israel and Hamas, and oh my goodness, folks, I don't know. Just to let everyone know, guilty as charged. Like, I'm a warrior. Okay, I know Jesus said it won't add one cubic inch to your life or anything. I am a warrior, and whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, whatever you are. But I know we shouldn't worry as much as we do. But I am one of those people. I just am, and so. When you see something go on with Israel and Hamas, and then Israel says that they declare war, whoa, that I just don't like. And of course, there's ties, as everyone knows, between Hamas and Iran, and I've been worried about that for very, very long time. Perhaps you as well. I mean, other people have, going at least back to the George W. Bush years. He mentioned Iran as part of this axis of evil thing at one point. I was like, oh my gosh, And it's so crazy. Iran wants to develop nuclear weapons. Israel already has them, probably at least something pointed that way. Just saying. And our media doesn't quite lay all this out for everybody. And it's just a crazy, scary thing. And so, I just want to be clear to everybody out there. I mean, I think I can speak for you. We both want all of that. I think so many people want all that just to calm down, and hopefully cooler heads will prevail. But you know me, buddy. I am a warrior. We got lots of stuff going on, and that's just adding to everything else. We got, of course, Ukraine. And the other people, well, we support Ukraine. Well, how far are you going to support Ukraine? I would love the people that say, I support Ukraine. Hey, how far? How many more billions? Can we start sending U.S. troops over there? What if we had a draft here? I mean, how far are these people who said they support Ukraine willing to go? And you said on a recent show, you saw Tim Pool. He's a YouTube guy, a podcaster guy, right?
Yep.
You saw him on another show, and he was a guest, and he was talking about the whole Ukraine situation. And
yeah, he made a point to say that Putin has always said the whole reason that he's doing any of this was the Crimea. That he didn't want to be more or less landlocked out of what seas?
The Black Sea, I think.
The Black Sea, so he could export oil and all this because he doesn't have the North Star, whatever that pipeline got destroyed, which I'm pretty sure we're the ones that destroyed it, considering that Biden had made mention that, if any of this shit goes down, that that's not going to happen. And sure as shit went down, and it's not happening. So he takes Khmer for his land bridge so he can keep, travel, so he can export his oil. And that's all he's done. He's held those positions, and that he's done exactly what he said. Now, Tim Pool's whole thing was that he's done this. He sees the maps. He sees that they're not pushing in anywhere. They only wanted that one strategic spot to keep their country viable for selling oil. What's the problem? Now, again, no one's defending Putin by any means, but they did what they said. They're not attacking anymore. What does Ukraine possibly have? Well, what is their war that they have going on? Russia's not doing anything. And for the most part, any news I see about this war is always the Ukrainians somehow bombing or destroying Russian type
drones
stuff.
and whatnot. Yeah,
So to me, it seems, we're being lied to. They don't need this money because the war is not technically going on. They just want these toys so they can shoot off into the direction of Russia, playing like a wag the dog moment, that movie. They're just making this fake war up, and they're going to perpetuate this because they need. Listen, we ended the war in Afghanistan. All right, that was what? How many trillions of dollars a year? Where's that money now? Where's all this trillions of dollars that we're spending the past 20 years in Afghanistan or Iraq?
What was the real benefit? What was the real benefit?
I mean, honestly, where is it? It's gone. So the only way to make up that money is just start another war. And look, Ukraine, how convenient it's right there. Come on, people, pay attention. Where's the money? There is no money. Well, they need to make money because now you have all these big companies, these big weapons. They can't make company. The military industrial complex completely fell apart when we pulled people out of Iraq. When we stopped that war, we had to replace it. And this is how they replaced it.
And with the whole 2016 thing, I mean, I knew good people, Logan, really good people who unfortunately lean left, and they're like, well, I think Trump is Putin's puppet. And I said, I wish. I'm saying all that tongue in cheek, okay? But people believe this stuff. Hook, line, and sinker. I mean, they believe this stuff. And there's a talk of Trump and some Russian prostitutes and urinating on. Sorry about that. It's a family show here, but I mean, all this crazy wacky stuff. None of this stuff's been proven. It's all just nuts. And who knows? Anything's possible. But you can't just make accusations. You got to have something behind it. And all these Democrats don't realize now that they've kind of brainwashed to join a bunch of neocon Republicans, and we don't like neocon Republicans either. As we look into the political landscape, and I really think a lot that Nikki Haley. A lot of people might be very surprised. She is slowly moving up in the polls, And Vivek, he got into it with her in the first debate. That was a lot of fun in Milwaukee. And said, you go back to being on the board of the Northrop Grumman or whatever, or Raytheon or whatever, implying that she was, basically working for the military-industrial complex. That very well could be, and I get very nervous about all this stuff that's going on. Obviously, the Israel thing is really scary at the moment. Let's hope it calms down. The Ukraine thing is ongoing, like you said. Is Tony Blinken? Are you doing anything, Tony? Are you doing anything? Get over there and get some peace deals going. Get some negotiation going. We can't afford it, financially, if nothing else. We surely don't want the risk, blood of American soldiers for this conflict. And then you got a lot of weird stuff, dude, going on.
Well, I got a question.
Okay. Oh, sure. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
About the Israel war.
Yeah. Okay.
Were any other countries around that region there to help either one of these sides? How come there's no one defending Israel, defending Palestine? Like, why is there no one? Like, why is it exclusively just those? Like Ukraine, it's fucking all the NATO's behind, to help Ukraine. You got other countries help. Even Russia has allies.
Right.
We're the allies for either side, other than America for Israel.
Okay. See, that's my fear. My fear is that others are going to be brought into this situation, and we don't want that. Then we're in a, maybe biblical end times. I don't know, folks, but we're definitely going to be a World War III situation there. Obviously, Israel is backed by the United States, and Hamas does allegedly receive a lot of funding and weaponry from Iran. And then we know Iran and Russia are close as well. And one of the craziest things, and I don't know where it stands, and we'll try to look into this, folks. Logan was telling me within this last 6 months or so, there's actually been dialogue between Saudi Arabia and Iran. These are two countries that, for many reasons, have been at odds with each other for a very, very long time. So there is something there also to watch. And of course, as we all know, whether you could be someone that likes Trump, and there's Trump Saudi ties. There's Saudi ties to Democrats as well, to all kinds of different companies, Citigroup, Fox News, Fox, I'm sorry, 20th Century News Corp, whatever Fox is, their parent company. The Saudis are, people. We were about China. Saudis, they got their octopus tentacles in lots of things here, as well as many foreigners do. So a lot going on here. Let's just hope the cooler heads prevail. And I'm really worried, Logan. I see this big picture. I see a bunch of stuff. It's just something's going to give here, and it's going to get ugly.
There's a lot of world conflict. There's a lot of different things going on that people aren't, I guess, putting together. I mean, you got Ukraine, you got what's going on in the Middle East, you got China, Russia, by the middle there, you got North Korea,
Yeah.
you got the Taiwan and China thing,
Yeah,
you got even China encroaching on some of Japan.
There you go.
There's a lot of and that's not even mentioning if there is, I'm sure there is anything happening in Africa, South America.
Well, Niger had a coup over the summer. I don't know if that got a lot of play here, folks. There's a big French connection there to Niger, one of the African countries, and we've had some connections there too. Our own CIA, I think. So lots of stuff going on, man, and it is very, very scary world out there. And so here's another kooky one. And look into this, folks, if you didn't see this. Okay, I saw this on regular MSN. Something to do with the Polish leader talking to Zelensky, the Ukraine leader, and there was something said about the Polish leader was telling Zelensky not to trust Germany, of all people. You think that Europe would want to be very united right now, with worries that Putin and the Russians are going to go further and go into other countries. But see, that, like you said, it's not really been his. He hasn't really done that yet. He's made some threats.
Didn't we just have some weird interaction with, what was it, an American military or Congress or some kind of meeting with Zelensky where they praised Nazis or some Nazi language came up and it was like praised, like we applauded some. It happened here when he was here with Benit Biden.
Okay, I gotta look into that. There is a faction in Ukraine called the Azov group that is sort of a neo-Nazi group.
They had brought up
this could be something else.
Person. They brought up a particular person, and they all kind of applauded him, though he was a known Nazi.
Is this in Canada? I thought this was Canada.
Maybe it was Canada.
Yeah,
but it was Zelensky was present during all this.
Okay. All right. Well, we will come back to this one, folks, and we'll sort this craziness out. Because oh my gosh, yeah, the world is just getting nutty. And I would tell everybody out there, look, you like your football, you like your baseball. We're in the World Series season now. If you're a baseball fan, we're early in basketball, I think. I mean, look, enjoy your sports, but pay attention a little more if you don't to the news, and maybe even a foreign news source too. Think about that a little bit. I love my USA here. I love our country. Not that I love our media, but maybe pay attention to some foreign news outlet as well to maybe get a little more of an international flair, because there's a lot of things going on here, folks. And if you're not paying attention, before you know it, we may be engulfed in some big war, and there could be some draft again. A lot of people they get complacent, Logan. They think, oh, well, that hasn't been since the Vietnam era. We haven't had a draft. Okay, doesn't mean they can't bring it back. Just saying, folks. Got to be careful of how much George Washington, of all people, warned about this. Beware of foreign entanglements. Anyway, but we definitely are entangled, and we're definitely involved with lots of foreigners. So anyway, I'm going to move on to things back here at home a little bit, if that's okay with you. The speakership. Kevin, don't let that door hit your ass on the way out. Oh my God, I loved it. I mean, I know Democrats are all left. Ooh, Republicans are so dysfunctional. Okay, so first of all, if you're a Democrat or a left-leaning person, I want to get this clear right now. And maybe this is just my opinion, but I think there's facts behind it. Republican Party, for the most part, is a faux party. It's fake. Okay, you get people on certain issues like guns, like abortion, or whatever, and then they go do all this corporatist crap. They end up sending jobs overseas. They end up going against our own constitutional rights, the Patriot Act. If you need an example of that, and all these crazy wars and this big military. I mean, again, are we getting ready for World War III? Are we getting ready for space aliens to come down? I mean, that would make sense, okay? Then it would maybe make sense. The money we've been spending, not just right now, but year after year, administration after administration. I mean, this is nuts. This is nuts, okay? So anyway, here we are, the speakership, and Kevin McCarthy, if people don't know, you should look into this dude. He was a roommate of a guy named Frank Luntz. Frank Luntz. Look into him. You can probably look on picture. Oh, yeah, I've seen that guy before. He does a lot of these. Oh boy, what do you call them? They're like he's a pollster. And he's a campaign guy you hire to win a campaign. James Carville, for example, is one of those guys. Probably Roger Stone was for
Trump.
Trump, David Axelrod for Obama. I mean, these are hired guns that maybe probably have no heart, probably have no soul at all, and they're just there to get you elected. Okay, and they don't care what lies got to be done, what they got to do to get it done. They get it done. Frank Luntz is one of those kind of guys, and in other words, he's not a good person. He was actually, I think, Kevin McCarthy, his landlord. At least they lived together for a while. Now, I don't know if it's anything personal or romantic or anything. I'm not alluding to that. I don't know. That's their business. But Frank Luntz is not a good guy, and a part of the big fake. I mean, you were just a kid contract with America thing that Newt Gingrich did. He was a part of that whole thing, and they knew a bunch of that was never going to pass, folks. But they put it out there like they really meant it, and very little of that ever got done. And they knew ahead of time it would. It was a scam, basically. Okay, some of it would have been good. A balanced budget amendment was one of them. Term limits was one of them. Just it looked cool on paper, and they were trying to come off a lot of the Ross Perot momentum of the early '90s and say, we're going to get something done. And Republicans did take back the House in the 1994 election. It was history. It was amazing. I don't think they had it for decades. It was amazing. It was an amazing thing. But you get in there, meet the new boss, same as the old boss, pretty much. And a lot of disappointment there. Anyway, McCarthy out. I love it. Jim Jordan, Steve Scalise. But then they say an outsider could come in.
Oh yeah.
You could do it.
Yeah, we could. Anyone could do it. The funny thing is, Trump could even possibly do that. Wouldn't that be something? That'd be crazy.
That would be beautiful. Now that would be beautiful, folks. That would be a thing of beauty. I know. Then my mind goes, Candace Owens, Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, well, oh my gosh, they could do something historical here. It would be a beautiful, beautiful thing if they brought in an outsider. Oh my God, that would be the best. That would be the best. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens, folks. It is a crazy, crazy world. Round and round it goes, Logan. Where it's going to stop, nobody knows. God only knows. All right, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. And please hit the subscribe button. Please tell a friend if you like the show and put your questions and comments below. And please, criticisms, whatever. It's all good. It's all good. We love you. Join us again soon because this world is getting nuttier and nuttier all the time. Thank you so much.